One trick to increase the views on your TEDx talk. This is the topic we're going to talk today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around this beautiful, beautiful world. Happy Friday. Let me know in the comments below where you're watching it from, how you're feeling on Friday. Let's jump also straight into the topic, as I always takes a little bit time before I see all the comments, but I promise I'm going to come back to comments. And if you're watching today's topic and you've got any kind of questions, put them in the comments below. I'll make sure that I'm going to go through the comments and answer all your questions. So the topic today is one trick I'm going to give you today that is definitely going to increase your views on your TEDx talk, regardless when that was published. Was it recently this year, or it was few years ago or many years ago? Absolutely doesn't matter. So it's more or less as of giving you one strategy, one TEDx strategy, which is going to increase your the views of your TEDx talk. So what is that one? Just before I explain it, let me just tell you something. Regardless how many people you shared your TEDx talk with, you always have one limitation. And if you know what that limitation is and you can guess it, put it in the comments. I'm just curious to see who is going to guess that one limitation. So let's see the comments quickly. Shrenik is saying good noon. Thank you so much. You're watching from London. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, Shrenik, as this is just past midday. So this is afternoon already in London. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so one limitation. When you do a TEDx talk, you've got one limitation always. And then after your TEDx talk is published around the world, you still have that one limitation. It will always stay there until you do that one strategy, which I'm going to give you today. So here is that one limitation. Shrenik is saying good news from London. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is that one limitation? Your original TEDx talk is in one language. Obviously, you can speak only one language when you present, regardless if it's a TEDx talk or not. And when you speak on stage, that one language, this is the one limitation you always have. Okay, and I'm gonna say it as a limitation, not because it's a bad thing, but because it's a fact. Okay, you are always presenting your speech, but for all public speaking, you always have that one language what you use on stage. Now, because we're talking about TEDx on this podcast, the Red Dot Speaker Star podcast, let me tell you what happens on YouTube. Once your TEDx talk is published on the 50 odd platforms, and YouTube is one of them, YouTube, as is the biggest platform, 2.6 billion subscribers right now, 2022, mid-year, already gone. YouTube will automatically put the subtitles in the original language of the video. So whoever is watching in that original language will also have the option to read what you're saying in the same language. So you've got, in other words, you've got automatically the transcription of the language you use on stage. Now, in 2020, Neil Patel said something which really made me think at that time. It was pretty much very beginning of 2020. And when people was asking him what kind of strategy he would give to people so they can increase their followers, they can increase the reach of what they do on a daily basis on social media, here's what he said. That was, again, beginning of 2020. He said, One of the best marketing strategies for 2020 and the next 3 years, he did totally predict that, is to translate the social media content in the 5 most popular languages in the world. Now, I want to pause here for a second. Why do you think this is so important? And why he said also, like, at least, he didn't say at least, but he said like the 5 most spoken languages. Because majority of the world's population don't know English, they don't know Mandarin Chinese, they don't know Hindi, they don't know Spanish, they don't know Arabic, they don't know French, they don't know the language most probably what you're speaking. And the truth is that everyone always prefers to watch their videos in the native language, their mother tongue, in their mother language, because this is the first language what they learn in their life, and that is always the most easiest language to absorb whatever content. Your TEDx, your legacy as a TEDx is a content, and I want you to think about your TEDx right now, not just as a TEDx talk, but it's a content what you want to reach as many people as possible out, which basically means that by having your TEDx talk in the original language only, you automatically exclude all the people who don't speak that language. Meaning, we're talking about billions of people around the world, like huge amount of people, right? I'm gonna go to comments for a second. Fredrik is saying it's 18 minutes max. That is correct. But by the way, there is a trick about the 18 minutes. I'm gonna stop about that topic just to explain. I always say 17 minutes, and I'll tell you why. Because 18 is by TEDx rules, okay? But you've watched so many TEDx talks. At the very beginning of the TEDx talk, we always have up to 15 seconds advertising of who is the sponsor and the TEDx event itself. At the end of every TEDx video, you always have up to 10 seconds advertising of the same sponsors and the same event and any kind of sponsorship, right? Because TEDx is a volunteer event, no one pays. Therefore, sponsorship is very important. That's when the beginning and the end of the video, they put all these sponsorships and the logos of companies and people who help financially to run that event, which basically means that now calculate 15 seconds plus 10 seconds, that's maximum, that's 25 seconds. I always put 1 minute just to be safe. Obviously, it's a lot less than 1 minute, but I always say 17 minutes is a maximum. I know this is off the topic right now, but it's quite important. And thank you so much, Fredrik, for saying it. So I would say when you decide to do a TEDx talk, do it for 17 minutes, because what happens when your TEDx talk is longer than 18 minutes is goes in a different queue, which is for manual check. So it's a human check to check why this talk is longer than 18 minutes. Even it's like, I don't know, 18 minutes, 50 seconds, it's gonna go to a manual check. So going back to what the topic is here right now. So feel free to ask any kind of questions. This podcast every Friday, 12 p.m. UK time, is for you to ask all kinds of questions about TEDx and TED and all the TED and TEDx related formats. So feel free to ask all your questions. And going back to the topic, Connie is saying, thank you for all your tips, Bilana. Thank you so much, Connie. And it's such a pleasure. Connie was part of, I cannot show the comment, but yeah, I've got some issues. Okay, it's now shown. That's great. Thank you, Connie, and good morning to America with you, as I know you're in America. Now, the topic today is to give you one strategy that is gonna always increase your views. And I probably guess that you're already guessing what that strategy is, right? So we're talking how languages are really limiting because you can only present in one language, but this is a limitation later on because you cannot reach billions of people, billions and millions of people around the world, because most probably they're not speaking that language what you're using. Because when you have your TEDx talk in that original language, you will automatically exclude all the people who don't speak that language. and that automatically means billions of people. I want to share, actually, no, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to share it as a text, and feel free to take a screenshot of that specific banner, what I put at the bottom, because these are the top 15 most spoken languages in the world. I might actually surprise you, but this is a fresh statistics from 2022. I took it literally 20 minutes ago. So English, Mandarin Chinese, Hindi, Spanish, Standard Arabic, Bengali, French, Russian, Portuguese, Urdu, Indonesian, Standard German. I put it as German, but it was written Standard German, which I'm not quite sure what that means. Most for the German-speaking countries around, like Austria and any countries around Germany. Japanese is number 14, and then Marathi. I hope I pronounce that language very well. Do apologize if it's not. But these are the 15 most spoken languages around the world right now. I'm going to share quickly something with you before I come back to the comments, because what I want to show you is all these languages. As I said, like, I was thinking French, to be honest, that is one of the top 15 spoken languages, but that is not correct, actually. So you can see them on screen right now. It's exactly what I asked you to take a screenshot, but feel free to take a screenshot right now, because these are like 16 all the way to 70. Look where I'm going to go to 15 onwards. Look where French is. Like, I personally was thinking, like, where is Italian? Where is French? So Korean, Vietnamese, Swahili, even the Egyptian were much down below 15. So, hey, take a screenshot. Again, these are the 50. I'm going to go back to the top 15. Just give me a second. Here you go. So the top 15 most spoken languages. When you publish your TEDx talk, the one limitation you've got for your TEDx talk is that it's only on the language what you spoke on stage, together with the automatic transcription by YouTube, as much as is correct and as much as we pronounce the words very well, of course. So they do their best, I would say. But then you still have that one limitation. Now, the one TEDx strategy I'm going to give you today is exactly that you can absolutely request to transcribe your TEDx talk in the top 5 or the top 15 if you want languages. I'm going to go through what is available there, but you can transcribe your TEDx talk in so many other different languages. And here are the top 17 right now on screen. So again, take a screenshot. 3, 2, 1. I'm switching to back to me, because I want to show you a few more rules, and of course I'm going to show you how to transcribe. So let's see the comments very quickly. Good afternoon, Celeste. I know you're in the UK, I think. Shrenik is saying, count on me every Friday. I will be attending. Thank you so much, Shrenik. Yes, 12 p.m. UK time is the Red Dot Speaker Star podcast. And I always give tips like this one today. Celeste is saying, so through, I'm not quite sure if that was it, but most probably something like the top 5 languages. And you're saying button is covered by the subtitles. Oh, I'm sorry. Button. Okay, I will put again, give me a second. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change the, give me a second. I'm going to change the banner, and I'm going to, here you go. So you can take a screenshot of these 17 ranked as top most spoken languages in the world. So there should be no banner at the bottom to hide it, but these are 17. Take a screenshot. Now I'm gonna move down from 17, so from 18 all the way to number 34, which is Punjabi. So look at how many millions of people are speaking those languages. It's just amazing, which basically, again, automatically means that by speaking just one language and not transcribing your TEDx talk in the other languages, you automatically exclude all these millions of billions of people around the world, which cannot really go through what you're saying on TEDx stage because they don't speak the language or it's not their mother language. Now, how exactly to get your TEDx talk translated in the languages you want? Let's just go back to the comments very quickly. Shrenik is saying I pronounce Marathi very well. Thank you so much. Is that a language from India in this case? I know you're from India. Therefore, you most probably know where that language is from. Sorry, I don't know. So great advice from Celeste. Thank you so much. And she is watching it from the UK. Thank you so much. Great. Let's just show you how to get your TEDx talk translated in the languages you want. So first, I want to show you the results because that is really important. So I'm going to share my screen again. This is the amazing TEDx talk of Gabrielle Hartley. She gave that TEDx talk in the US in the TEDx Oak Park Women. And I had a chat with her assistant yesterday, actually, because she was busy with meetings. And I was asking just so I can give you those results. I asked her how many views she had before it was transcribed in different languages. So literally within 2 months, this number of views doubled. So it was about 30,000 views. Within 2 months, it went 2 or 3 months, it went to nearly 60,000. So this is double the views. And right now, people around the world can watch it in Arabic, in French. The native language what she speaks in on stage is English. So she added 1, 2, 3 more languages. So this is 4 languages in total. And look at this, it doubled the number of the views, right? What I want also to show you is, now I'm going to show you this one first. This is Dr. Khurram Sadiq, and he didn't even know when his talk was transcribed. At some point, I had a client of mine who called me and said, how did he do it? And I was like, I don't know, let me ask. And I asked him, and he was like, I didn't know it was transcribed. So that's the magic of TED and TEDx. So it was transcribed in Arabic, Japanese, and Spanish. So you can see again, like 4 extra languages. So because we didn't know when exactly it was transcribed, like when they start transcribing it, I cannot tell you how many, like, is it doubled or tripled, but I can tell you that this talk right now has just below 500,000 views. And as you can see, Arabic and Japanese and Spanish and English, they're quite big languages. That, like, not all of them are in the top 5, but it's still big. The last one I want to show you as example is Alina Timofeeva. She did TEDx Bedford speech on TEDx Bedford stage, sorry. And pretty much as a result, I'm gonna show you how many languages she has. She absolutely nailed it. I absolutely love Alina. She's a very determined person when she wants something. And when we were discussing the TEDx strategies with her, we were discussing like which languages to go first, etc. So look at this. She had, I think, in total, she had about 17 languages, right? This is, again, like, she's a very determined person. But because of all this huge list and huge reach to all these billions of millions of people, look at this, her talk is also like just below 500,000 views. It's amazing. Like, just for the fact that she gave that that opportunity for the people to watch her TEDx talk in their own native language, that automatically increased her views. I'm gonna go back to my screen and stop sharing for a second. So just before I explain how, I'm gonna go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Celeste, you're saying the subtitles cover the lowest part of the screen. I cannot do anything about subtitles because this comes from LinkedIn. But what you can do, I think you can stop the subtitles on LinkedIn. Now I got you, what you're saying. I think there is a way on LinkedIn to stop subtitles, but I'm not quite sure where to click. So that is automatically for me to control this on behalf of you. Training is saying from state of Maharashtra in Mumbai, yes, definitely is an Indian language. I absolutely guess very well. On what number the Japanese language stands? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. So Japanese is number 13 in the most spoken languages in the world. Japanese is number 13. So here you go. That is the answer of your question. So let's go back. How to get your TEDx talk translated in languages you want, because you totally can choose. First thing, what I want you to know is how many languages are available from TED headquarters for you. Guess what? There are more than 100 languages available. So pretty much they cover all the languages. So as long as you request from them, because it's a request only, this is where you choose which languages to be transcribed from. The second thing what I want you to know is that all the TEDx translators are all volunteers. So this is not like I'm gonna go request and I'm gonna be like, okay, where is my translation? Where is my translations? All these amazing translators are all volunteers. So they do that after their daily job or whatever they do during the day. So you need to be very patient. The reason why I'm putting it here for you to know, not just because they're volunteers, but you really need to be extremely patient when you start the whole process of asking the TED headquarters to transcribe and translate your TEDx talk. You have to be patient because you're going to work with volunteers. So please, they're amazing people. Be nice with them. The other rule, what I want you to know is that all the translators are registered with the headquarters. So you can't just go and say, oh, by the way, I can translate it in my own language. You actually have to go through the translators because they're all registered with the headquarters to be able to translate. Of course, here's a tip, okay? The tip is that if this is one of the languages what you know very well, of course you can help them, you can translate it, send the translation, so they can actually, that's going to really make their day and make their work much faster, because they're going to just go through what you translated and put it on the platform. Talking about the platform, there is a very special platform for TED translators that they add the transcription. Something what I want you also to know, very important, is that as I showed you just with 3 different TEDx talks, when your TEDx talk is transcribed in different languages, that's not going to create yet another video and yet another video and another video, etc. Okay, what's going to happen is that it's going to go within the same video. Let me just show it again. So it's going to go within the same video. It will be, usually what happens is that when someone use YouTube knows what kind of language that person use most of the time or all the time. So they automatically put the subtitles in that language. Okay, so you're not going to have like 5 different variations of your TEDx talk with 5 different links. The link on the top, the URL link for your TEDx talk is not going to change. It's going to always stay the same, which means automatically that when you share your TEDx talk with different people, regardless their language, okay, you always use the same link. This is so important. So I want you to remember that. It will be always one original video in your one original language of you standing on stage and speaking on that stage. And just the languages are going to come up as different variations on the subtitles, okay? I just want you to explain that because people quite often do mention this. Let's check the check who's here. Good afternoon, Michael. I haven't seen you for ages. So glad to see you here. And glad to have you here, because that's what I'm talking about today is going to help you with your TEDx talk enormously, I promise you. So if you just joined, you joined exactly on time, because What I'm going to give is how exactly to get your TEDx or TED talk transcribed and translated. Those are two different things. They can transcribe it in the language you speak on stage. Okay, this still needs to be transcribed, but they can be also translated and transcribed in different languages, 100+ variations. So take a screenshot again from that screen. It's translate@ted.com. This is the email where to send a request for your TEDx talk to be translated. So it's translate@ted.com. If you have right now a lot of subtitles going on, I'm going to zip it for a second so there will be no subtitles, so you can take a screenshot. Here you go. I hope you did take a screenshot, but there should be no issue now to see this. Translate@ted.com. So one more thing I want to explain. It's Michael is saying, absolutely, I've really missed those sessions. Thank you. Every Friday. Every Friday, absolutely. Okay, the last thing what I wanted to mention is that you can find a list of all the translators on the TED.com /people/translators. This is where the full list of all the translators, you can see how many languages they are there. You can see who is doing the translation. Again, they're all volunteers, absolutely amazing people. And of course, if that language what you want to be translated is your mother language, just put it translated by yourself, send it as part of your request. The request needs to be sent to translate@ted.com. That was it from me. Put all your questions in the comments below. So I'm gonna leave that banner. Actually, one more thing, because some of the people here are future TEDx speakers. Some of you are already TEDx speakers. And I invited quite a lot of you who already do have TEDx talks. So I've got my Patreon community, what I created for both different types of groups, like soon to be TEDx speakers and already TEDx speakers. I created a Patreon community where I give a lot more tips, because I go live every Friday here with one or few tips on one specific topic. But on the Patreon community, it's a very small fee monthly. It's a subscription based. It's like £10 per month. But you can ask all kinds of questions. You're going to have all the answers. So feel free to join the Patreon community. And you're going to see the two different groups, like you're already a TEDx speaker, here you go. And you're going to be a TEDx speaker very soon. This is like really the quickest way to get my answers answered, the answers of your questions answered straight away instead of waiting from Friday to Friday. That would be the quickest one. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any kind of questions, I don't see any more comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been half an hour, almost half an hour, as we always do half an hour on Friday. Thank you. I'm gonna see you next Friday. I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of energy wherever you are around this beautiful world. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. And I'm gonna see you next weekend.